Welcome back to another edition of the Night Report podcast. I'm your host, Richie Schnyderite, and I'm joined by beat writers slash co-host slash, I don't know, Craig, you got a bunch of
little bit of
titles.
everything.
Yeah, so Mr. Do-It-All, Craig Epstein. Kind of weird for me doing the intro today because I'm not going to lie. I don't like doing it. It's kind of weird. Mike's not here. Mike's decided to leave us, and he's overseas on his little vacation.
You didn't want to show his face after that Philly game yesterday. He got fucking smashed.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, it was a preview of the NFC Championship probably too, if I had to guess. But anyway, Craig, we got a lot of news to break down. So let's just start with football. It's the most prevalent thing. Rutgers is headed to the Pinstripe Bowl officially. We kind of knew about this the minute they lost to Penn State, I guess. We've had text and everything. We've had sources and stuff talk to us and say, hey, Pinstripe Bowl already reached out. They're very interested in us. They want us, blah, 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 blah. They're in the Pinstripe Bowl. Now, we didn't know I guess the show started at noon for the college football playoff. We didn't know until basically 20 minutes before Greg's presser. It was kind of ridiculous. The ACC was a mess because Florida State ended up getting out of the college football playoff, and big controversy there. Debatable. I still think they should have been in. Whatever.
Really? You think Florida State should have been in?
I do. I think a Power 5 conference, Power 4, whatever you want to call it, undefeated, injury or not, it's similar to the Mawat Mag thing. It's the injury thing, and that's what screwed them. But you're undefeated in a Power 5 conference, so I think you kind of deserve it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of agreed with the committee, to be honest. At the end of the day, I thought it was about just finding the 4 best teams. They want to find the best matchups because you don't want to put in these teams that just get blown out, like TCU in the championship last year. I think at the end of the day, they're just looking for the 4 best teams. And Florida State, I mean, we saw it with Michigan's reaction when they revealed that Alabama was the 4th team. They were hoping for Florida State.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So the fact that they saw Alabama and where you could see the room deflate, that pretty much tells you that they made the right decision in my opinion.
No, it's tough. Alabama was definitely the better team, but undefeated in the ACC, it's still a power conference. You won games. You didn't lose a game, literally.
But what I mean, let's be honest, the ACC, compared to the SEC, it's not nearly as good. Winning winning the SEC is way outweighs going undefeated in the ACC. I mean, again, it's impressive to go undefeated, but again, at the same time, they lost a quarterback, so that took a big shot to them. And the ACC is just not really a powerful conference. We've talked about it in the past, that how there's just not a lot of great teams in the ACC, and once they showed on the show yesterday the difference of strength of schedules, to me there was there's no other option. Alabama had 5th, Georgia had I think 37th, and Florida State had 55th. To go from a drop off of 50 spots to try and put that team in, I get it. They went undefeated, but Alabama had that one loss to Texas, but at the end of the day, the way you matching up, I thought Alabama's the better team, and they deserved it. I think they deserved it over Georgia too. So
yeah, it's tough because they did defeat Florida this year. They did defeat LSU, so it's not like their out of conference was really bad at all. Those are 2 SEC programs. But regardless, let's move on from this because we could debate about this for hours. But this is a Rutgers show. So let's get back on topic. Rutgers is Rutgers is taking on Miami in the Bronx in the Pinstripe Bowl, December 28th, 2:15 p.m., I believe is kickoff. Thursday afternoon. I guess, Craig, just give me your overall thoughts on just being Miami, because we kind of expected Boston College, we expected Georgia Tech, we expected just about anyone else.
No, yeah, I mean, I think from a matchup standpoint, storyline standpoint, just really everything, this is as good of a draw as Rutgers could have gotten, to be honest. We all knew, we knew basically Rutgers after they got the 6 wins, we knew they had basically a free invitation to the Pinstripe Bowl. It was just whether or not they could get maybe one or 2 more wins and go to Vegas or Nashville or something like that. But we knew if Rutgers stayed at that 6-win mark, which it ended up, they were going to the Pinstripe Bowl. So now it was just about figuring out who were they going to be matched up against. For a long time, we thought it was going to be Georgia Tech, which Georgia Tech, I mean, they're a decent team, but there's not really I don't know, it's just not a really sexy matchup, to be honest. I don't think they've really played each other that many times. There's not really many storylines behind that one. So
Mhm.
I mean, I would have been like, beggars can't be choosers, but that matchup didn't really appeal to me. Boston College to me would have been the worst. Like that was just there's nothing to me. No offense to Boston College, but just we watched them. We just saw them play last year. They're
Mhm.
not an exciting team to watch, and to be honest, Rutgers isn't exactly a very exciting team to watch. So the game itself
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have been that exciting to watch. So I
Mhm.
just had no interest in that one. And so we talked about Clemson, which Clemson would have been cool, but at the end of the day, I don't think Rutgers would have beaten Clemson.
Mhm.
So you kind of want to balance that kind of like quality matchup with a team you think you can actually like beat. And
Yeah.
Miami, I think, fits that mold. Miami, they've got a decent team. They got a good offense. We talked about, their strength of schedule. The quarterback now is in the transfer portal, so that will probably make
Help a
things
little bit.
even more like of a competitive matchup. So I saw Miami opened up as like a touchdown favorite, but
Mhm.
then you told me that one of the websites had Miami like winning 24-20,
Yeah,
and that's kind
ESPN.
of that's I can see that being that type of game. If Rutgers can play their style of game, they will probably win. Miami, again, an ACC team, is used to a certain style of play. Rutgers is probably more of a physical, maybe not Florida State level, but a more physical style
Mhm.
of team. So if Rutgers can play their style of game, I think they could potentially win this one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Matchup wise alone, Miami definitely has a couple storylines. Like you just said, Tyler Van Dyke, they're starting quarterbacks in the portal. Although they didn't use him for about 3 or 4 games because he did miss some time with injury. So it's not like the backup hasn't had experience this year, at least specifically. They also lost their top defensive tackle, Leonard Taylor, that's entering the NFL draft. So I'm assuming he's probably just going to sit out the bowl game. I don't think that's official or not. I don't really know enough about Miami. Still trying to read a little bit more. It sounds like they're losing a lot of guys to the portal right now. On top of it, I just don't know how well coached they are. Like, don't get me wrong, their numbers are good, but like numbers in the ACC, and this goes back to the Florida State argument, are different than most conferences. Although they do have some good wins. They finished 7-5 after going 5-7 last year, so it's like Cristobal has them a little bit better on the rise. Although fans seem to kind of hate him if you read on Twitter, um, X, Twitter, whatever. But he did defeat number 23 ranked A&M. He put up a really good fight against number 12 UNC, who's got one of the most high-powered offenses in the country. They only lost by 7 to Florida State, only lost by 7 to Louisville. So the top teams in the conference, they don't get me wrong, they lost to them, but they still put up really good fights. So I really don't know what to think about this team going into the game. I think Rutgers definitely has the better defense, and I think it's clear that Miami has the better offense, but Miami also has a pretty complimentary defense too, only giving up 20 points per game. So I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting one. And like you said, the storylines between the coaches, Greg was at Miami at one point. Cristobal was at Rutgers. Cristobal was the one-time favorite for the Rutgers head coaching job. Even got offered the job from what we know before Kyle Flood took it. But long story short, it sounds like Cristobal's wife didn't want him leaving Florida at the time. I think he was at FIU, I believe. And
Did yeah, some did he end up going to FI? He ended up going to FIU, right?
is that what?
I
Well,
forget.
yeah, he left Rutgers for FIU,
Yeah.
but then he was head coach at FIU, had some good years, I believe,
Mm.
and that's when Greg was leaving. And when Greg was leaving, he was the first man they called, and it ended up not working out because his I think it was his wife at the time was just very against like leaving Florida, didn't want to, and she's like, I don't want to go back to Rutgers, I don't want to go back to New Jersey, blah blah blah.
Mm.
So then he ends up going to Alabama as associate head coach, assistant head coach, whatever that title was, / O-line coach / recruiting coordinator because he's a very good recruiter. And then he turns that into the Oregon job. And then he turns the Oregon job into, or Oregon co-OC job? I forget what it was. It was some kind of
Yeah,
work.
sort of. Yeah, he worked his way up basically.
Yeah, I think he was co-OC for a year. Then he got the Oregon head coaching job, and then he turned that into the Miami job, and here he is. So he's back down at his home of Miami, and then so he's got Rutgers ties. And then Greg was defensive coordinator in Miami for a couple of years. So it's kind of interesting to see all these dynamics. It's almost like a student versus master or protege versus master, whatever you want to call it, type of situation. It's like every time they play Minnesota, it's PJ Fleck versus Shiana. It's kind of cool to see. Now it's Mario Cristobal versus his old school in Rutgers. But definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and Rutgers is also, I know, going for their first ever win against Miami, 0-11 all time, even dating back to the Big East days. I think everybody remembers some of those games pretty well. Probably probably would wish to forget some of them. But of course, there's the 2002 game where Rutgers faced kind of a little similar to when they faced number one Ohio State this year. Rutgers started off where they had were playing well, looked like they might have been on their way to beat number one, and then Miami woke up in the fourth quarter and basically made it the game look worse than it actually was.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy because like in those 11 games, I'm looking now. Was it 99, 2000, 1, 2, 3? So 2 of those games, 3 of those games, Shiano was the head coach of Rutgers. 2 of those games, Shiano was the defensive coordinator in Miami. Like it's crazy. He's been on both sides of this series. Like, and Miami's 11-0 all time, and honestly, all the games were not even close. Like the closest I think was 93. It was 31-17. I think that's the closest one. Yeah, or 31-17. Yeah, or 34-10 in 2003 was a little closer. No, the first one was closer. So Rutgers hasn't, like, under Shiano, Rutgers has lost 61-0, 42-17, and 34-10. Like, and those, mind you, those are Greg's 1, 2, 3 first years as head coach, so it's tough. But former Big East matchup too, which is kind of cool. That's really it. I guess there's not much else going on with that. We're just kind of waiting. Greg and Cristobal and both ADs, I think, are both expected. All of them are expected to talk on Tuesday in a press conference with the Pinstripe Bowl via Zoom. It's going to be more national media than as compared to yesterday's presser, which was just local media. And I want to break down yesterday's presser a little bit for the sole fact that who the fuck asked him about Kyle Flood?
Hey, listen, congrats to Kyle Flood. He's going to the
No, I love Kyle.
playoff.
Nice guy. I still talk to him to this day. I love Kyle Flood. I think he's a great guy. There's a debate there that he might have got a little bit of a raw deal on his way out, but we're not going to go there. We're gonna stay away from that one. I just don't understand. We're here to ask Greg about the Pinstripe Bowl, and he goes, "Hey, did you see Kyle Flood made the playoffs? Did you ask him about it? Did you talk to him?" What? No, like anything else. I just thought that was wild. I mean,
there's only so many questions you can ask about the glorious Pinstripe Bowl.
Then you just sit back and don't ask a question.
Like you get, I would.
But then you'll get yelled at like by fucking what's his name from Georgetown. They'll yell at you for just lumps on a log.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm like,
no lumps on logs here.
Yeah, I didn't get that one. That was wild. But other thing he said, and Fonseca asked him towards the end of the presser, he's like, "How are you going to handle the portal?" And he gave him an out when he said when he did a 2-parter. I would have just went straight for the kill shot kind of and just been like, "Are you getting a quarterback? I just need to know. I just want to know." And that would have been the better way to word it, I think, in my opinion, just because he's probably going to hate you for it regardless. But I think you just got to ask him straight up, because when you do a 2-part question where Fonseca's like, "Hey, how are you going to handle the portal, and are you going to get a quarterback?" That you give him that little bit of an out. And that's where Greg took that out and basically said, "Well, we're going to handle it just like we handle everything else. We have a whole different department for it. Blah, 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 NIL related. Yeah. We need money, yada, yada, yada." Like the basics. But he dodged the quarterback part completely.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, he's going to talk out of kind of both sides of his mouth, where he's not going to say, because it's almost, he's almost playing the role of a GM, where it's like, well, if you show interest in a guy, he's gonna bring up that his contract, his NIL money. So it's like, and at the same time, if you end up striking out, not finding the fit quarterback wise, then you got to go back to Gavin Wimsatt or whatever. You don't want to bury the guys you have on your roster. So it's like he's kind of in a bad situation right now where you can't publicly show interest in a specific guy, but you can also leave it out there that you're looking. Because I think we've talked about it, ad nauseum at this point, that Rutgers should be looking for a quarterback in the transfer portal. And as we've seen now in the last week, basically everybody and their mother has hit the transfer portal. So, I mean, it's just about Rutgers, going out there, finding the right fit. Because I understand, like they're not going to get Will Howard. Like, it's not going to happen. Like these top end guys who are going to command, millions of dollars.
Will Howard, like, no.
Yeah, like these top end guys that are going to command millions of dollars. Like, it's not going to happen. But just find the guy who, money wise, team wise, culture wise, is the right fit. Because I think going into next year, they need another quarterback whether they're on the roster or not on the roster to compete with Gavin.
Yeah, I think our entire crew over at TKR kind of agrees with that. They need a quarterback bad. Like, you can't have the most inaccurate quarterback in college football 2 years in a row. You can't have it 3 years in a row because you're gonna have it.
You barely got away with it 1 year.
Yeah, like it's tough. I don't agree with it. I think he needs a quarterback, and there's a bunch of names out there. Everyone is in the portal. Like, Minnesota just got one of the best portal kids, in my opinion, from the kid from New Hampshire. Yeah, I think he's phenomenal. And these things move quick, so it's like you got to be ready to go. Like, the minute he got that offer, he scheduled that visit within the same day. So basically, they said, "Hey, here's an offer." He said, "I'll come visit. That's fine." You think that happened that quickly? No, I think they had it tampered a little bit, and that's fine because that's how it works, because there's no consequences. So the other issue with that is, too, if you recruit a quarterback in a portal, it's weird because you're prepping Gavin for the bowl game. You're getting him ready for the bowl game. Evan Simon's not here anymore, so you got to prep a Johnny too, I guess. And you're prepping these guys for the bowl game, but at the same time, you're hosting a quarterback recruit on campus. Like, I made a joke about this with Mike the other day. And I was like, yeah, like, imagine just you're at bowl practices and then, like, you're just like, look, Gavin's looking at the sideline. Oh, who's that kid? Like, is he a future wide receiver or something? Yeah, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. Like, he's fine. He might be a wide receiver. We don't know yet.
He's an 18.
Meanwhile, it's fucking Kyle McCord on this side. But yeah, I mean, I think Kyle's the one you got to reach out to, at least reach out to, just because he entered the portal today. He's a Rutgers legacy. He's a New Jersey guy. Like, yeah, how do you not reach out to him?
Yeah, just test the. Yeah, I agree. At least test the waters, because just you don't know. Like, he's. I mean, yeah, he wasn't. He didn't like. I didn't think he was great at Ohio State, but I think but he'd be great here. I think compared to what they got. So I don't know. Like you said, I think they should at least test the waters with him. And I was thinking of this too, where you're talking about the just the kind of the weird scenario of preparing for a bowl and also hosting recruits, but not recruits, transfer guys. Mm-hmm. But like, why is there a reason why they don't just wait till maybe after the bowl season to open up the transfer? Like, let these guys enter the transfer portal. Like, I understand, like, it's different. The timelines might change, but to me, it's it's just such a weird scenario to be a coach or a player preparing for a bowl and then also having to try and bring in these transfer guys. It's just, and the thought of a guy you play, not offense to Evan Simon or just guys like him, where it's like you spent all season with your team, preparing to play and the things like that, and you're finally preparing for a bowl game, and they're not even going to be with the team anymore.
Yeah, it's
weird.
It's a weird scenario. I don't agree with the transfer portal window currently. I think you probably should have opened it up in maybe January after all these bowl games. I think that'd be the most. It's just like, why would you put free agency in the middle of the playoffs? Like,
exactly.
It's just dumb. Like, side note, Max Brosmer, who people have questioned, is he good enough? Yeah, I'm looking at the Rivals rankings for transfer portal guys. The number one ranked quarterback in the portal, ahead of Will Rogers, ahead of Will Howard, ahead of number 6 Brandon Sorsby. So I mean,
your guy.
There's still some guys that haven't been ranked. Somehow someone got a 2-star on Gavin Rupp. I don't know how that happened, but honestly, I think Gavin Rupp can go start somewhere like lower. We're talking like FCS. I think he could.
New Hampshire has an opening now.
They do. That would make sense, actually. But yeah, I think he's a Florida kid, so probably not. But yeah, no. I mean, right now, Max Brosmer is a 4-star transfer. Like, that's a good kid. Like, obviously, I think Kyle McCord might be able to jump him there. Will Rogers is the only other 4-star ranked so far. There's only like 10 ranked. That's going to change over time, but you got to get a quarterback so bad. Like, I don't get it. Like, you need one. You can't look at what that offense this year and tell me you don't need a quarterback. Like, and you would hope Kirk is pushing for it, because there's no way that Kirk sees that as a very good offensive mind and says, I can do this again next year. No, you can't. Like, you can't do it again next year. And maybe you can, but it's another 6-win season. Like, I don't know.
By the way, I was thinking about this, and you're not gonna like hearing this, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's a possibility. Is that kid Kaliakmanis? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Ethan That sounds about right.
Yeah, sure, yep.
I'm not gonna attempt
I
that.
think there might be a fit there between him and Kirk and what they're looking to do.
Yeah, cool. The number 3 most inaccurate quarterback in college football last season. That's great. Like that's exactly who I want. Is him competing with the worst accuracy quarterback in college football. And don't get me wrong, like I would take Ethan because I feel like that's probably the most realistic option because you don't have a choice really. You just take what you can get. Beggars can't be choosers. But I think Ethan takes Gavin's job, and I don't know if Gavin's here if Ethan comes in. To be honest, it's an improvement, I guess technically.
Yeah.
Like it's such a weird one. I'm looking at. I had his stats pulled up yesterday. I think he has 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's a win. Rushing numbers aren't there like Gavin, but he still ran for 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like he also threw 2 picks against Michigan. So that's out of those 9, he threw 2 against Michigan in the last 3 games of the season. First 3 games of the season, it was 1-1-1, like pick. Yeah, he kind of actually did a lot better. He does bad versus really top comp, which I mean, yeah. Ohio State and Michigan, like he struggled with. UNC, he struggled with. Iowa wasn't awful, but wasn't good either. No, he actually was awful. I take it back. 40% completion percentage. So, but like the other teams, like he threw 63% against Michigan State. 50 is not good either, actually. 57 against Wisconsin. Like he has moments, and then he just looks like shit versus other teams. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
He's mid, but mid is an improvement right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like almost anyone's an improvement. You just get any portal quarterback, and they're probably going to be an improvement over Wimsatt. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's true. Like that's a full blown fact. Like I don't understand how he has defenders based on his stats alone. Like the proof is in the pudding.
Zach Wilson has defenders, Richie. They all get defenders.
Tim Boyle's a starting quarterback.
Tim Boyle's probably got defenders out there somewhere.
I don't understand how that guy's a fucking starting quarterback.
Well, not anymore.
Oh, did they replace him yesterday?
Oh yeah. Trevor Siemian went in. Yeah, once they figured out Tim Boyle couldn't, play football,
throw the ball forward.
Yeah. They finally took a look at his high school, college, and pro stats, and they were like, why is this guy playing?
Wild, like absolutely wild. I don't get it.
No, I get it. Unfortunately, too well.
Anyway, let's move on to a much more depressing topic. Rutgers basketball. That was a shit show. You were there. I watched it on TV, obviously. Just tell me what your overall thoughts were from the game and biggest takeaways.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, they came out of the gate very slow, and it's just at the end of the day, listen, Illinois, I think could end up being the best team in the Big Ten. Like they're great. They're just well balanced. It's just a Brad Underwood coach team. They're just really good. But Rutgers came out of the gate slow, fell behind 14. Like they gave up 14 straight after scoring the first 2 points. So they're right there. They're down 14-2. So the rest of the game, they're trying to fight back. At one point, they were down, I think 24-8. So it's just like, once you fall behind by that much to a team like Illinois, you're going to be spending a lot of time trying to fight back. And eventually they did. They made it a 3-point game at one point, but then every time they just kept getting close. Illinois just kept pulling away. It was a 5-point game at halftime, but again, the second half starts and the starting 5 comes back out, and it's off to a slow start again. And the next thing you know, Rutgers is down by double digits, and it's just they're just kept trying to fight their way out of it, but it's just too tough. I mean, at the end of the day, Cliff just had a really, really bad game. Like watching Cliff out there that game, he kind of looked like back to his like freshman year. He was just like almost a step slow on defense, offered basically nothing offensively, because every time they tried to dump it down to him, he just back to the basket, tries to do his moves, puts it up, no good. Like it's just, and I'm sure we'll get more into that, but just not a good game. They got destroyed on the rebounds, which it's the Big Ten. Like if you're gonna get destroyed on the rebounds like that, you got no shot. So I mean, again, Dane Danger had a great game for them. I mean, credit to them, because they have great players, but you just cannot play. You can't get off the slow starts. You cannot get pounded on the boards like this and expect to even keep it close against Big Ten competition like Illinois.
Yeah, the rebounding is the big issue for me. That's number one. I mean, there's multiple issues from this game. The rebounding, though, to get out rebounded, what was it, 55-27 is fucking abysmal. Cliff should be such a better rebounder. And don't get me wrong, he still got his 9. So I can't really fault him too much because he did get 3 offensive. He got 6 defensive boards. So that's about average for him. Maybe he gets a little more sometimes, but I'd say double digits is probably his average if I had to guess. But that's fine. He did good. Michael Davis as a guard, I don't expect a ton of rebounds out of you. You got 3. Good job. Austin Williams, 4. Great. The rest of the team, Andre Hyatt, if you're playing that 4-man spot or 3-man spot because you rotate kind of between that whenever Woolfolk's on, Woolfolk's off, you can't get 1. Woolfolk, you can't have fucking 2 rebounds. Like, that's bad. Especially when you're going to put Woolfolk and Cliff out there together. You have those 2 can't score beyond 5 feet. Like, it's number one, it's a terrible combo. It's not going to work in conference play, and that's proof. Look at the way they're set up, like Illinois. Like, their big man is basically Coleman Hawkins. Coleman Hawkins is what, 6'9", 6'10", and he's a skinny 6'10". He's not like a bulky 6'10". And he's just dominating. Like, everyone on their entire team got like a ton of rebounds. Their starting lineup got 6, 12, 22, 29, 37 rebounds alone from their starting 5. And you got compared to Rutgers, which was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like, the starting 5, and I loved your question in the presser. It needs to be changed. And I thought that was I love Pike to death. I think he's the greatest guy in the world. I did not like his answer to that, saying, well, we're 5-0 with this starting 5. Well, yeah, you're 5-0 against 2. Like,
yeah.
Against
Howard,
St. Peters, Howard,
yeah.
Georgetown, who's dog shit, Bryant, Boston, like.
And then the one quality team they faced to start the year.
Yeah, you lost.
I mean, again, credit to Princeton. I think they're a really good team. I think they're going to be in the top 25, probably a tournament team at the end of the day. But, like, these are teams you're going to have to beat if you want to get to the tournament.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they took Austin Williams out of starting 5. Like, I thought he was good. I don't like the combo of Simpson and Fernandez. And Mike said it earlier in the year when they were on the floor together. Like, it didn't work. I think it was game 1 or game 2. It didn't work too well, and everyone's like, Mike said it on the pod. He was like, hey, like, they're 2 similar styles. Like, you have to one or the other, and one should come off the bench and one should start, and that's fine. And I think that's okay. I don't think Derek's going to be pissed off coming as the 6th man off the bench. He's still going to get minutes. But when they combine for 2 of 11, what the fuck? It doesn't work. And Austin Williams, who had a pretty good game, like, in his 25 minutes, he had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Like, Austin Williams is slowly starting. And I said this preseason, actually, and people called me crazy. I said, Austin Williams is going to be a starting guard. And people were like nuts on the boards. They got all pissy. They're like, Austin Williams? Like, I'm like, dude, the guy averaged 19 in his last time he was healthy. If he's any type of healthy, the man can score, and he's lengthy. He can defend the 2 and the 3. A guy like Derek and Noah literally can't guard anything more than the 1. No offense to him, but he's 5'11", like, on a good day. Like, he's not guarding 2s and 3s. Derek Simpson, he can maybe guard a 2, depending on who that opposite 2 is. But, like, they couldn't do anything against Terrence Shannon this week. Like, who's one of the bigger, like, 6'6" guards. Like, you gotta, and it's gonna suck because Big Ten play is big time guards. They're all big, lengthy guards. So that's why I think Austin Williams has to be out there. And then I don't understand Gavin not starting. It drives me nuts. Like, he's your best scorer by far. Why is he not on a starter? And why is he only getting like 18, 19 minutes? Like, this man should be on the court 30 minutes. Like,
yeah, I think it's mostly because his defense, you can tell, is not there yet. It's really like you put him out there when you need scoring, but like defensively, he is just not there yet. You can see he's a step slow just about every time, and you can see he's defending with his arms instead of his body.
Yeah.
So he's just not there yet. I mean, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. I'm confident he'll get there, but right now, he just, like, this is what stinks about Cam leaving over going to UConn, is that this is probably the role he would have played, and it would have been a much easier transition for Gavin. But now that Cam is gone, he's basically been forced into this role that he isn't probably ready for quite yet. But hopefully, as the season progresses and we get later in the year, he will get into it. And it's all about finding a shot, because as we've seen, if he can drill it, that's just a completely, like, if he can drill it, like, that's a guy you have to key in on every time they have the ball. But just right now, he's not there yet.
It's true. Let me ask you this. I know you agreed with me, I think, with the Woolfolk and Cliff thing. The experiment, it's dead. It's not working.
I was gonna say I don't really. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of their starting five right now because, like you said, when you put Woolfolk and Cliff out there offensively, like Cliff just cancels Woolfolk out because Cliff is gonna hang down in the post
Stay
and
in the paint. He doesn't
yeah, he's gonna
move.
stay in the paint, do his thing, whatever, get a dunk or two or whatever. And
Yeah.
Woolfolk, they're not gonna let him shoot mid range or he shot that 1 3 he made, but
Yeah.
they're not going to let him just stay out there and shoot. So it's kind of like they just can't. They cancel each other out. But at the same time, I understood. Like I always come around back to it that once Mag is back, he's going to slide into the Woolfolk role, and I think that will add
Yeah.
a very good, very just more balance to it because we've seen
Mhm.
he can play post. Mid range, like he has a more of a complete game. So I think once he comes back, their starting five will have just a different feel to it. And Fernandes and Derek, like, yeah, I can see either way. Where if you want to split them up, just because they're two kind of floor general type guys, I'm okay
Mhm.
with that. At the same time, I've seen them in the during the first few games that they can mesh pretty well together, and when they're both hitting their shots, like then it's just like there's two guys you got to account for, and it's tough. So
Mhm.
I can live with that either way, but it is what it is. We'll see how it progresses. It's still early.
Yeah. So what's your? Just give me. I know you kind of just hinted at it, but give me your ideal starting five right now.
Yeah, I would. Right now, I would keep it the same, just with just put in Mag instead of Wolfolk. I
Mhm.
want to see how I want to continue to see how Fernandes and Derek play together. Just because if because Derek can play off the ball sometimes, and if he can
Mhm.
start hitting his shots from an off ball guard, then their offense I think will be really good. But and now we could probably talk about just the fact that I think the dumping to the cliff, starting off the offense with dumping it off the cliff, that you can't do it consistently. It's just it
No.
kills the offense. It's just he just hangs down there and kind of just kills the clock, and then puts up because again, I hate to say it, but he just does not have a good touch. His offensive kind of skill set is just limited, and it's
Mhm.
tough. So the offense has to run through your guards, like
Yeah.
whether it's Noah, Derek, or even Jamichael Davis. Like those are the guys that have to basically dictate your offense, and those are the guys you have to win or lose with because that's basketball in 2023. That's why when you get to the
Yeah.
tournament, that's why Purdue they have the best big man in the country. Like the guy's unbelievable. And they can't they just go out in the first round every year because they face a team that plays modern basketball, have these guards that can run around, and that's it. And you were talking about they're small, and which I get from the rebounding standpoint, but as we just watched, wasn't that Kansas State kid? He was like the shortest guard, and he was like 5'8", right? And he was
Yeah.
just this kid, but he was unbelievable. And that's modern basketball. That's basketball
Yeah.
now, where the game is played through the guards.
Yeah. That's true. Now I'm gonna say personally, I think I'm just anti these two playing together, and I'm anti multiple people in the starting lineup playing together. Actually, at this point, I think Fernandes, the veteran, gets the nod at point guard. I think Austin Williams has to slide back in at that 2 role. I would love to put Gavin Griffiths out there as like a 3, but I don't want to let him guard threes. I'd probably flip flop with Williams on defense. Whoever's the better scorer on their team on defense at the 3 role, whether it be the small forward or shooting guard. I'm putting Austin Williams on that guy instead. I'll let Gavin guard a smaller guard because I think he's quick enough at least. He just needs to learn to shuffle his feet better, and his defensive stance drives me fucking bonkers because he stands straight up looking at them. I'm like, dude, at least force the guy left. Like most of these guys are righty, so just force him left, and then you got Cliff in the paint behind you, so you should be okay, regardless. But Wolfolk, I would take out, so it'd be Fernandes, Williams, Griffiths. I'm putting Hyatt at the 4 for now, and I'd go Cliff. I know Hyatt's a small ball 4, like it doesn't really work crazily good, but in today's day and age, you can get away with that. Ron was only 6'6", around his weight too. I think 230, 240-ish, probably 245 around there maybe. But definitely Ron was definitely the stronger. But if I'm going to put Hyatt at the 4, I need him to rebound better. I need him to get rebounds. Like I need you to box the fuck out. It drives me nuts. And then we hear all this hype about Antonio Cho all off season again, and then he doesn't play a single minute. And I'm like, dude, is this kid like alive, like or not? Like I don't get it because he's got the perfect 4 body, and apparently he was this great 3-point shooter that would stretch it out completely versus with Cliff there. Like, and you can't convince me he's not better than Oscar. I love Oscar; he's a nice guy, but I don't I don't think he's good on the court. I would take my chances with Chol, a guy who can hit those threes at a high rate in practice at least, and see if he could do it in games too. But regardless, I'm going Fernandez, Williams, Griffiths, who did I say? Hyatt and Cliff. I think
Now,
that's
what
a
would you
good
do
starting
once
line.
Matt comes back?
Once Matt comes back, probably gonna take. I don't trust Hyatt as a defender, and that's the issue. And Hyatt's better off the bench personally. I'd probably switch Hyatt to the bench, to be honest with you, and have Hyatt be the first forward/guard to come in. And then if I need a point guard to come in, it's Derek. Like, depending on what that's my rotation. That's probably my 7 for the most part. And 8 would be Wolf Folk, obviously, if they need a big man to come in. So yeah, I'd keep it small. I'd keep it an 8-man rotation. I know Pike said this might be his deepest team, but he's not using it like it's his deepest team. He only used 8 guys, or 9 guys with Jamichael. I'd get Jamichael minutes too, obviously, but I'd probably keep the rotation like an 8-9-man rotation, and that's about it. So I think if Mag comes back, it's still Fernandez, Griffiths, Williams, vice versa, whatever you want to do there. Mag and Cliff. And like even when Mag comes back right away, like I still think Mag's going to be hesitant. I think he's going to be nervous. Like I think that's a big reason why he's not playing right now. Pike kind of hinted at it in the press, not this presser. The presser before that was St. Peter's. He almost said, like, at the end of the presser, they asked about Mag, and he almost said, like, yeah, he's gonna let me know when he's ready. And I'm like, he's gonna let me know when he's ready. So basically, what I'm getting out of that is that they thought Mag was gonna be good to go for St. Peter's. They thought he was gonna be good to go for Illinois. He warmed up twice. Or no, he warmed up for Illinois. He didn't warm up for St. Peter's. He was like non-existent because no one saw him, and then he appeared on the bench. And people were like, "Oh, he's still on the team. Like, it's okay." But no, I think it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing more than anything. Like, these injuries are serious. Like, I know people are like, well, it only takes like 6 months. Look at this guy that did it in 6 months. Look at this guy. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He can run like on a torn Achilles.
Keep the faith.
But yeah, that was a waste. That was a waste of a comeback player of the year bet that I made. But whatever. Anyway, it is I do think it's a mental thing. Like, it's hard to come back from these injuries from a mental standpoint, because the minute you jump up, your first reaction coming down is like, oh shit, it's gonna happen again. And then you just got to get back into that groove when you jump up and land again, and you're like, all right, everything's intact. I think we're good. Like, all right, well, look at that. Like, we're fine. And then you just start getting back into it, and there's going to be moments where you're going to fall on the court, and the way he plays, there's 100% chance he's going to fall on the court at some point. And it's going to feel weird at first. You'll be like, knee-jerk reaction is going to be like, grab the knee. Like, is it okay? Yeah. I think it's fine. All right. And it's going to be sore. Like, and it's going to be completely different. But that's what I'm saying. Like, even when he does come back, I'm not expecting him to play starter minutes, number one. I'm not expecting him to play more than like maybe 17 minutes to start. Like, you're going to have to warm him back up and get him, shake off the rust and all that. It's going to be very tough. And I think it's just more of a mental thing right now. And we're just waiting for him to be okay. With a couple weird games coming up, like Wake Forest, I think you could sneak him there if he's good to go. Yeah, I would play him there. I don't think Wake Forest is that good. Seton Hall is a little different because I think they're actually a decent team. I did get to see him play the other day in person. I would probably, if he's not good to go for Wake Forest, I'd probably leave him out until Long Island. And Long Island's such a bad team. I could throw him in there and he'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Where I don't, like, in his defense, I don't think coming your first game off of a torn ACL against Illinois might not be the wisest thing for your health.
Agreed.
So again, like, I think again, Wake Forest and Seton Hall, those are possibilities that he could start. But if he doesn't play against, like you said, if he doesn't play against Wake Forest, then I don't think he's probably up against Seton Hall. And then you get back to kind of the cupcake games, the Long Island University, the Stonehill game, where it's like
Long Island right into Mississippi State. So
right,
I would hope about that. Yeah, I would say Long Island's probably the ideal scenario.
Yeah, where if that's where you want to get your feet wet again against a team like that, and then I could see that. So it's just like you said, I think it's now at this point it's just about when he feels he's ready to go, that he'll be out there, and that's now we wait to see.
Although I just looked this up, Mississippi State is on a skid now too. They
Yeah, they're weird. They just lost to
Southern.
yes, like not Southern High School, like,
Yeah.
but like Southern University.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy actually. They lost to Southern University 60-59. So,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's just the college basketball was so weird. That I mean, this is why I'm going back to like, don't.
Mhm.
It's not worth panicking so much right now because I think Illinois is just a really good team. I think it could end up being the best team in the Big Ten. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of teams in the Big Ten where I think the Big Ten is basically it's like just every team's like almost every team's middle of the pack. Like Maryland, like, you never know what you get with them.
Yeah.
It's just like, so that's where Minnesota. I mean, who knows? Northwestern, they'll beat
Mhm.
you, but then they'll lose to you. Who know? Like who knows at this point right now? So that's really where we'll start as the season progresses and we see Rutgers face teams like that. That's where we'll really
Mhm.
get a good kind of view on the team and what kind of team they're going to be, because those are the teams. If you want to get to the tournament, you're going to have to beat them, and if you don't, then might be going back to the NIT, unfortunately. But we'll see.
Yeah. They do need to do something. They need to turn it around. It's not pretty right now, but Wake Forest on Wednesday night, right?
Yeah.
I think. All right. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else. Craig, any final thoughts? I guess between football, basketball, Rutgers in general.
I had this thought. This is funny that with the Juan Soto deal going down, the deal
Oh,
might be
jeez.
whether he goes to the Yankees or not. It might be
Yeah.
settled by the time we go to the Pinstripe Bowl. So if the Yankees do something, if they do well and they get the deal done, then we might be walking the Yankee Stadium happy. Dap up maybe Hal and Cash, being like, "Good job, guys! You know what you're doing."
About
But
time you did something.
yeah, but if they screw this up and they lowball and the Toronto ends up getting them, there might be some tweets that get us banned from this game. So this is going to be an interesting couple weeks, month.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to dive too deep into this. I don't know what to think about that deal because, like, it sounds like they want a lot, but at the same time, the Yankees are in such a bad spot. It's like you almost have to do it.
Mm.
Like, you need to stay relevant. You need to get back to the playoffs. You need to do something to get this team some juice. And obviously, Juan Soto, great player, but is he a rental? Potentially, and that's the issue. You're going to give up the farm for a rental. But the other side of things is we recruit relatively, or not recruit, we draft relatively well. Like, and our farm system kind of just keeps getting rebuilt pretty easily. I don't want to say it's like the easiest job in the world, but I do think we're doing pretty good with developing the farm. So I'm not too concerned about selling it and then just redoing it again. So I don't know. Personally, I make the deal because I'm a Yankee fan and I'm tired of this shitty team every year. So I'm like, dude, just do something. I would love to get Giancarlo off the books, but I almost said Gavin. I'd love to get Giancarlo off the books, but it's just not realistic. So I think you have to do the next best thing and go out and get a superstar again and just trade the farm for it. And I think between Judge, Soto, Giancarlo, Glaber, the rest of the team, like, I think they have a pretty good lineup going in next year if they can get Soto.
Yeah,
So,
it's just this is business. They're going to ask for the sun, the moon, and the stars. The Yankees are
yeah.
going to ask to offer nothing, and then they'll try and meet somewhere in the middle, and that's when we'll figure out if one side was ridiculous or if one side what the deal is.
Yeah. So, other than that, I have one final thought. It sounds like there's a rumor going around that we could get some big news this week. I'm not going to say when, but there's a rumor, so just stay tuned. Recruiting wise, obviously.
Can you say what day?
I cannot say what day. I'm not going to give that information away yet because I'd rather people be surprised. It's more fun that way. But I can say this
will
week.
It be in the year of 2023?
I can say that. I'm saying this week. Like, it's pretty helpful. I feel like, yeah, it's pretty helpful. And then it's definitely recruiting info, and it's not a quarterback. So some might argue the quarterback of the hardwood, but that's up for debate. I'm gonna let that one.
Hey, listen, if you can throw a ball, could be a dual sport athlete. You never know.
I mean, hear me out. That might be more accurate than a certain someone. All right, that's enough Gavin bashing for today. I think I got my my rant out before, but yeah, I guess nothing else, right? I don't think there's anything else going on.
I don't know if you wanted to to tease as something that we could be doing for the Pinstripe Bowl? I don't know if that's been set in yet or...
Still working out details.
Okay.
I have a phone call today for some kind of pregame party. We're working actually with couple people in the athletics department to try to make something combined, so it's more of a giant gathering than a small thing. Working out the final details of that hopefully today. I have a phone call later on, so we'll hopefully get all that sorted. I do know that the band and team are probably going to march in like a parade type thing. I forget which. I think it's 161st actually.
Are you going to be
that
like
one
the flag,
behind?
Are we going to be like the flag twirlers?
No, I
No.
have zero. I could ask if you want.
I could do the big stick, and that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I don't know if they're not going to give you drum major.
No, I can't play drums. I can't.
Drum major.
I probably can't even hold the thing. It's probably too. I'd probably hurt my back.
As a former band guy myself, the drum major doesn't play the drums. He's the guy with the stick in the front.
Really?
Yeah, she's in charge of the beats and like making sure you're in tune, on beat, walking in a perfect line, blah blah blah. Yeah. So
it'll be like the scene from Animal House where the guy takes the stick and then leads them into a tunnel to get just stuck, and they're all just following him. That would be me.
That would be.
I'm like, where are we going?
Instead of going right to Yankee Stadium, Craig's gonna go left to the McDonald's that's right there. But yeah, no, we are working on something. It sounds like that whole block behind there, everyone's booking parties there, whether it be Legends, Billy's, Stands. Like, it's going to be an insane thing. I'm hearing rumors there might be a certain very well-known New Jersey artist cover band, which would be kind of cool. I think you can kind of just guess because there's like two really known New Jersey artists, and I'm pretty sure one's
Bruce Springsteen.
There you go. Oh, wow. Never would have guessed that one. But yeah, no, it sounds like there's going to be a Bruce Springsteen cover band. It's going to be a giant party. Like, it sounds like this is going to be really fun. Obviously, as you guys know, the team has already started practicing too. Greg said yesterday was practice number 1. I'm trying to think. They probably do two a week. December 28th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd probably do 2 a week. Yeah. So if I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They might do 3 a week. I might be doing that math completely wrong. But I don't know if we're gonna get practice access or not. I don't think so because we didn't get it during the season, so I can't imagine him giving up the competitive advantage now.
Especially against his former protege.
Yeah. Oh, has student surpassed master? Has master still in charge? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I do think that spread is probably going to stay around there. I think it might drop to 5 if I had to guess, because I think Rutgers fans are pretty active on the sports books. So I think they're going to...
Mike alone will drop it to 5.
Yeah. You're not kidding. I think that's really it. I don't think there's anything else Rutgers related. Portal open today. There's going to be some more names in the portal soon. Who did we lose so far? Max Patterson just entered yesterday. Kamar Missouri. Rashad Rochelle, I guess, was a little shocking. Not really, sort of. We didn't even talk about the returning either.
Yeah, I mean, just quick, I think it's big. Powell coming back. Pierce coming back. I think those are 2 really big returns, so just keep going.
Yeah, Brian Felter coming back. So you return 1, 2. You'll return 3 starters at least, because Zelinskis I don't think can leave yet.
So
you return at least 3 starters for the offensive line. The other 2 graduated in Sutton, and I think Sutton could technically apply for a medical redshirt, but I don't think he's gonna do it, so it doesn't matter. And Curtis Dunlap's out of eligibility. He might make a run at the NFL. I just don't know if he's gonna make it. And then Tyrone Powell. Tyrone Powell is huge. That's the big one. That's a big return. Holland Pierce, you can argue, is probably just as big on the offensive side of things because you have your left tackle again, 5th-year left tackle, which is huge, and he's physically huge. But Tyrone Powell is a big one. Kind of just waiting on Aaron Lewis. I actually put out an article yesterday on who will stay, who will go. We've done this already on the pod. Monangai we're waiting on. Aaron Young, Christian Dremel, Mike Jafani, Aaron Lewis, Keontae Hamilton, Troy Rainey, Muhammad Toure, he's a big one too. Jameer Wright Collins, Max Melton, a big one. Eric Rogers, Robert Longerbeam, Mike Dixon / Foot Dixon, Shaquan Loyal, Desmond Iguanosin. So A lot of names we're still waiting on to hear. They're down to 69 portal or 69 total scholarship guys right now, not counting the freshman class incoming. 69, nice.
It's always nice.
Yeah, of course. Other than that, I think it's they're just kind of in the portal right now. There's been a few offers. 2 offensive linemen have been offered, a tight end and a defensive tackle. All 4 are from the Ivy League. All 4 are from different Ivy League schools, which is kind of crazy.
Hey, listen, Rutgers is a
Yale,
5-win
Penn,
team again, and it
Harvard.
comes down to the GPA. They're shooing.
They're in 100%. Yeah, at that point. I think you'll see some more portal offers today. Everyone's getting announced right now. It's fucking madness. I hate it, but I kind of love it too. Like I love the craziness of college football, and now it's free agency. Like it's people complain it ruins the sport. I think it's just fun because it's just like I have content now for the next 3 months. There's some names out there. Like I'd keep an eye on a couple interesting names. There's a couple of Philly guys in the portal, New York guys. Justin Jolly's in the portal. He's a former teammate of Johnny Shepard and probably the best tight end in the portal in my opinion. I think I keep an eye on him. Trying to think. EJ Warner.
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord's the one. Like we said it before. I would reach out. He's a Mount Laurel, New Jersey native. Dad played at Rutgers. You'd almost be crazy not to. So, Greg, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just saying, like, Kyle McCord's right there. Like, the guy's won Big Ten games. He's got Big Ten experience. He's got a fucking cannon. He made Marvin Harrison who he is. No, he didn't. But Marvin Harrison might have made him a little bit because he had him in high school too. So that's the big question mark there. But I do think Kyle McCord's a pretty good option if you can get him. It's all about money though at the end of the day. So we'll see. But stay tuned. We're gonna have a bunch more on Rutgers.rivals.com. If you haven't already, check out our website. There's a free message board. Just go on there. It's perfectly fine to go on the free board and go rant and go talk about the quarterback and potential. There's a men's basketball message board that's going off a little bit right now. There's fire pike threads.
Of course, they lost their first Big Ten game, so of course those are coming.
Fans are fans. I'm kidding. I don't think that. I don't think it was serious. I think someone posted it like as a sarcasm thing, but yeah. So check those boards out, and if you want, sign up for free right now on our site. The premium board is our go-to. We have recruit scoops, transfer scoops, team news scoops. We knew about the Pinstripe Bowl weeks ago. We posted. I just hinted at the Dylan Harper thing. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. We've been talking about him forever. It sounds like it's finally coming to a close, which is nice. Thank God. There's gonna be more portal guys. What else? Basketball previews, all that good stuff. So if you want to sign up today, TKR 30 gets you free 30 days. If you don't like it, cancel it. That's fine. Just go. I highly recommend checking it out. But it's almost like a drug. Like once you're on there, like you're in there for life. It's great. Like
this is a great time to do it too. This next month is going to be active between like I said, the bowl game and basketball, and possibly Dylan Harper. This is. I mean, if you're going to get a free month, this is the time to do it.
This is the month to try it. Exactly. Very good. Last but not least, if you haven't already, rate us on whatever podcasting app you're listening to on. It helps us grow the pod, helps us grow our audience, helps us get our reach out to more Rutgers fans. I think right now we're number 1 on Spotify and Apple Pods for in terms of ratings and in terms of total ratings and how high of a rating. Like you can't get higher than a 5, I don't think. But we have like 100 something. There's more than 100 something people. There's like almost like 10-fold almost. Actually, you can argue some of our pods do a lot better than that. You guys just rate us. It's not that hard. Like, please, it's free. And then if you're not on your I can't talk to you. Jeez. If you're on YouTube, this is what happens when I have like 2 coffees already.
Only 2?
Like not even like 10 o'clock. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I'll have a third or fourth. Anyway, if you haven't already, if you're listening on YouTube and you're watching us on YouTube, just please hit the subscribe button down below. It also helps us out. It's free. It's simple. And you get notifications whenever we post a new video, go live, whatever. I think we might have another pod later this week. I don't know. We haven't really figured out a schedule yet. We really don't have a schedule.
Things happen. We get on and we talk.
Pretty much. That's
And you guys listen.
that's what happens. So yeah. So thanks again for everything. For me and Craig, that's another edition of the Night Report podcast. Signing off.